strategic move that Eddie is making for AJ? Why are you not thinking, let's get him set up for
kind of animal? If that was years and years and years ago. Like, Clarissa is a way different fighter from when she was back in.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on our
defenses that she's had to have recently. You know, she's pulled people.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the RoundTable about tribalism. I don't think tribalism is necessarily bad. I just don't think it has to be.
I don't know what he think he sees or what he think he know. But he going to the hospital, bro. Like, bro, you not winning that fight.
You guys mentioned, I think, D-Style, you mentioned him versus Regis Program. I'd love, that sounds like a...
Old, I don't need you, you know, and PBC and others, in my opinion, it's like, oh, this is my guy. Like, there's a relationship.
Flat out, it's tough, and we call box, and we go to the end of the round, and then...
That would say, what do you mean by acting black? That's a fair question, but a participant of trash talk knows...
And they're announcing a fight 3-4 months from now. And he ain't going to fight. I bet you anything. He's not going to fight somebody as good as John Wayne. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me here on Archive. D-Style here. I'm being joined by Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter. We have Nika in the building as well. Check her channel out. Knockouts with Nika here on YouTube. We have the famous scribe, Gabriel Montoya, in the building. How's it going, brother? Bruce Goss. Make sure you subscribe to Bruce Goss Boxing and More. Jazz and More. There you go. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. And MC in the Ring has her podcast as well. Make sure you check out MC in the Ring and follow them on Twitter and everything too. They're there as well. We have Lee Groves in the chat already. How's it going, Lee Groves? Let's go ahead and get this one started here. Breaking news from today. It was announced that either at Madison Square Garden or at the Hulu Theater. We don't know where of those two places, but it's in the same vicinity nonetheless. Same building. One's the basement, whatever. Josh Taylor will be taking on Teofimo, Lopez, and I am ready for this fight. I'm excited for this fight. Joe Habib, let's start with you. What's your reaction, and who are you favoring going into this matchup?
A tough one. I'm going to favor Josh Taylor in this one, but there's some questions on both sides here because Taylor's coming off the injury, the so-called injury, and he's going to be coming off a layoff as well. Teofimo Lopez, I don't think has looked great in his last two performances, and this is going to be a big step up for him. And I just think that Teofimo Lopez really, he just hasn't been that same guy, that same fighter that we saw against Lomachenko. He seems to have regressed a little bit, throwing one punch at a time, just fighting more desperate and a lot less cerebral, a lot less methodical now. Now he's just kind of lunging in there, being overly aggressive and fighting off of a lot of emotion. He's got kind of like a chip on his shoulder. And I think he's going to have to bring a little bit more against Taylor because Taylor is very versatile. He can grind it out on the inside with you. He can box on the outside as well. He's a pretty good counterpuncher as well. So I think Taylor has the more well-rounded skill set where Teofimo Lopez is kind of that in and out ambush type guy. But like I said, he's not working behind the jab anymore. He's not throwing feints. He's just leading in with power shots. And I don't think that's going to be enough for Josh Taylor in this fight, for him to beat Josh Taylor in this fight.
All right, MC in the Ring. Welcome back. Well, what do you make of this announcement? And who do you favor this fight?
I'm looking forward to this fight. I think that Teofimo might just get up for this one. I knew that he was going to have a hard time with Martin on his last fight. He did. But I think that this was the last straw. I think he knows this is a do or die fight too. And not only for him, but also for Josh Taylor, period. People are upset at Josh Taylor because of what happened with Jack. He then went out and said he was injured, but yet you saw him jumping when he was sitting next to Jack Catterall at the Chris Eubank versus Liam Smith fight. So were you really injured, or did you just say that to get out of the fight? In reality, I think that Josh Taylor has more to prove than Teofimo Lopez does. You're the 140 king. I became undisputed at 135. So in reality, you have to beat me. I'm the younger guy. So I think if Teofimo, like Lee said in the chat, if Teofimo doesn't get up for this one, he ain't gonna get up for nobody. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the 140 is shaping up beautifully. We're about to see another fight here at the 140. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. As you can tell, I'm super excited about it. So
there we go. There we go. Nika, talk to us. What you make the announcement, and who do you favor in this fight?
I'm going to be honest, I need to see some interviews with Teofimo because that's how I kind of gauge his how his performance is going to be, like how his dad and him are talking, because most of the times they are very delusional. So, you know, I'm leaning towards I'm not leaning towards Teofimo. I lost faith in him. I don't know what's going on with him and his dad. It's just something there. It's just like, I don't know what it is. It's just, I think he lost it a little bit. I'm just being honest. Like, I don't know if that loss against Cambosa just like really did the damage mentally to him. You know, I know he had other family issues and stuff going on, but you know, in this sport, you have to be mentally strong to win. You know, so I just need to see where his head is at to give a real like definite answer on who would win the fight. But I don't think that Teofimo is gonna win, to be honest.
Okay.
From what I've seen.
It's a nice way of saying he's gonna get his ass whooped.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think he needs like a new group of people around him. His dad is like,
I'm not saying you're gonna lose. I'm just saying you're not gonna win.
His dad is like a cancer to him now in boxing, and he's not doing him any help at all. So
yeah, no, I hear you. Gabriel Montoya. The news came out today, so it looks like in New York. It seems like these fights that happen just happen. We don't hear rumors that they're closer to happening every week or something. They just seem to just happen, right? I don't know. Seems like a common trend, but what you make of the announcement, and who do you favor in that fight?
As a former boxing writer, I've always found the I heard so-and-so is going to fight so-and-so to be the lowest possible hanging fruit. You might as well, you know, it's kind of right there with taking the quotes from a press release and calling it an article because you reworded it. I always just say, like, let me know when that's actually happening, and then I'll get excited. This is a kind of top-ranked special. They're the best at matchmaking guys at the right time. If you look back at, like, De La Hoya's career, he had fights like this. Taylor hasn't fought, since last February, a year ago? And we looked at that and went, wow, he doesn't look long for this weight. He was talking about moving up. Then they were going to do the rematch, and he got injured. So he's been sitting there at his age, what is he, 32? And he's going to have to make that weight that he hasn't made in a long time. Whereas Teofimo is moving up in weight. I think Taylor is like 5'10", 5'10 and a half. Teofimo Lopez is 5'8". He's a big kid, but he's 5'8". He'll be able to take the weight. I've never been big on him. I always called him to boxing friends, and I think even on a couple shows, I see him as Honduran Jeff Lacey. He's a guy that looked great coming up, had a lot of punches, a lot of confidence, but it was always when he was bigger than the other guy. As soon as he met somebody that could box and wasn't afraid of him and had a plan, he lost. And granted, I think he was also not long for that weight. I think he needed to move up in weight and instead did this mandatory, and it was a nightmare for him. I think he even had an injury going into that fight. So I favor him going into the fight because those intangibles go in his direction this time around. But, his confidence is busted. And when you're caught on video after a fight you just won, but, won in not impressive fashion, saying, do I even have it anymore? That's an advantage for Taylor. So if he can make the weight and not kill himself, I kind of lean towards him. But I put a lot of stock in Bruce Trampler and Brad Goodman over at Top Rank. When they decide to make a match with their star guy, it's for a reason. So, I'm kind of equivocating, but on paper, Lopez should win it. But the style, I think, kind of favors Taylor. So I think it's going to be an excellent fight. Perfect for the Garden.
I have a question to X
Sure.
for that. So you think the Top Rank really has the best intentions for him? Because, they he had a little tussle with them. I forgot which fight it was.
Cambosos.
It was for the Kambosos fight. So, like, you know, or do you think that they're like matching him up to win?
I don't think they're above sink or swim matches.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this might be. Is a
I think
star
that's-
will emerge, and either it's going to be one overseas or it's going to be one here.
I mean, they have both guys, so it's like an in-house fight, so they can't lose either way, whoever wins. So it doesn't matter.
No, that's a good point. Bruce Goss, how's it going, brother?
What's
What you
happening,
make of
guys?
the announcement? Title on the line 140, Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez. What do you make of it?
Exciting, bro, exciting. And I'll tell you why. Because, you know, I've always looked at fighters as you're only as good as your last fight. And especially now when they only fight once a year, maybe twice a year if we're lucky. You know, both of these guys have a lot to prove right here. And yeah, I think this is a sink or swim, especially the way boxing is now. Like I said, man, you're only as good as your last fight. A year and a half ago, man, both of these guys are on top of the world, bro. Teofimo owned the lightweight division. Josh Taylor ruled 140. Now, I think, does Taylor still have the WBO title?
Well, he has one of the trinkets.
All right.
Yes,
So,
that's the belt that's up for the will be.
all right,
He's got the WBO.
So that belt is on the line at the Garden then. And Teofimo is in a good position, man. He can't flounder. Taylor can't flounder. This is a great fight, man. This is what we want to see. They're giving us fights, two marquee names, two names that even fighters beyond casual have heard of. And I mean, New York at the Garden, bro. The Garden is the mecca of boxing. If any of you cats know anything about the story, history of the game, and right now this is a hot fight. It's already made. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. 50-50 fight. If you got a gun to my head, I'm gonna say Taylor, only because I think he's more adept at that weight, and I think he's going to use a little more dirtier tactics for this fight. But it's going to be a great fight, bro. It could go either way.
Okay, all right. Sutter Kane, how's it going, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing? You can hear me? Everything's
loud
good?
and clear.
All
so
right.
the news came out today. Teofimo Lopez will be challenging Josh Taylor for the WBO title. In my opinion, it's obviously the Lino Championship, so it'll be at the Garden, your neck of the woods.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you what's funny though. When my man Gabriel compared him to Jeff Lacey, come on, man, that's disrespectful, bro. Jeff Lacey had no clear win in his entire career, and he got the shit beat out of him by Calzaghe. Teofimo beat the dog shit out of Lomachenko. Of course, we had that last about what is it, 8th, 9th, 10th round. Okay, I give him to that. But remember, Lomachenko was supposed to be the man at that time. You feel me? And a man with 16 wins, so they both kind of even on the record side. Beat the shit out of him where he didn't even want to throw a punch. I don't remember Jeff Lacey doing that to anybody. So
That's fair, but he still had the size on him, which is my point. He was supposed to win that fight.
Yeah, but this is the man that they compared to saying he's better than Muhammad Ali.
Then don't fight at 135 if you don't have the
Exactly.
size. Go down to 130.
Exactly.
But guess what? He don't want to see Shakur Stevenson down there either.
Let me tell you something. He don't want. No, we're not getting on you, Gabriel.
Tell him, MC.
No,
Tell
Gabriel,
him.
we're not getting on you. I was just saying that compared to Jeff Lacey,
Yes,
that was
I know,
funny
yeah,
though. But no, what I'm saying is that Lomachenko he gets all the excuses when things don't go his way. Everybody kisses his ass like he's the next one, and he hasn't been the next one in I don't know how long. Like, you feel what I'm trying to say? So when it comes to that, like, no way. And when it comes to Teofimo never really got his. I mean, yeah, he lost to Kambosos. I give him that, but his problems is more outside the ring than it is inside the ring. You feel what I'm trying to say? Like, his is way more outside the ring. Teofimo always had mental issues way before the Lomachenko fight, way before all that. I don't know if y'all remember when him and his wife was having those issues, and remember he had married to his wife, and his family didn't even show up to the wedding.
So you're picking him to win?
Huh?
So you're picking him? Is that what you're telling us?
Hell no. And stuff. No. Okay, this is what my point I'm trying to get to is both of these guys hit the pinnacle, and out of nowhere, they both just fell from grace. Out of nowhere. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Josh Taylor shocked me of how much he fell because I didn't see that coming. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Teofimo, I saw it coming. But with Josh Taylor, that was at one time I thought Josh Taylor can beat Terrence Crawford. I used to always say that, but now, hell no, and stuff, yo. Yeah, I'm dead serious. I thought he could beat the shit out of him, but at now, hell no, no way, Jose, no way. But what I'm trying to say now is that if they got to fight right now, like, okay, Teofimo and Josh Taylor, I think Josh Taylor wins the mental game off the back or before the fight even starts, and then when he gets in there, I think Teofimo just beats itself to where Josh Taylor just boxes circles around him. So I got Josh Taylor. If I had to do percentage-wise, I would say 80-20 Josh Taylor.
Whoa, 80-20.
Yeah,
Man,
80-20,
so
bro.
I do favor Josh Taylor in this fight. I think he should be the favorite in this fight. He is the junior welterweight champion of the world, as far as I'm concerned. He didn't look that good in the Catterall fight, but Catterall just a different type of fighter than.
I agree with you, D's. That's what I'm saying.
So,
like he kind of lost against a guy. The style was different. You feel what I'm trying to say? Where Teofimo lost against a guy that. Come on,
of course, I know what you're trying to say, because that's what I was just saying. But let me just finish my point, though. All I know is that Teofimo Lopez has a pretty decent shot at winning this fight. And I only say that because I have seen Josh Taylor hurt before. I saw him hurt against Postal. I think he was on some type of street. I can't say what type of street anymore, not nowadays, but he was in some type of street. And he wasn't like doing really good in the middle of that fight. He ended up winning the fight convincingly at the end. And of course, Josh Taylor's gotten better since then. But I think the speed of Teofimo might cause him problems. But I think Josh Taylor should have enough to win this fight. I want to go ahead and proceed to the next topic here. The one and only Conor Benn. All right, Conor the Destroyer. I mean, this guy walks with his friends. He destroys eggs. He just destroys them, annihilates them all the time. Carts of eggs. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. Look, Gabe, WBC came out. Mauricio Sauliman, I swear to God, I could hear his voice already. You know, there's not enough information about the cause of the positive test. So we have no choice but to reinstate a great champion in Conor Benn. Gabe, what do you make of the WBC's decision to not only reinstate him, but now Conor Benn's throwing in everybody's face. He's throwing middle fingers on social media. He's calling out his former opponents. He's not being gracious about this at all. If anything, he's saying everybody should apologize to him. He's scot-free. What do you make of this?
It's a charm offensive. What they essentially did was what Eddie Hearn did with Chavez Jr. when he tested positive and he took him someplace where he could get the fight. He went venue shopping. So they didn't give the people that are going to license him, the British Boxing Board of Control, this 270-page report. He didn't even bother showing up to a hearing where he lost his license. Instead, they went to Morgan Sports Law, which is very experienced in handling anti-doping litigation. And it seems like they've given him some advice. We'll get all these experts. We'll do this report. In boxing, you know, you've got 4 sanctioning bodies. Only one of them has a drug testing program, so we'll go to that one, the WBC, and we'll have them look at this thing and decide whether or not they want to rank this guy. And by saying that we're going to rank him and that we're buying his excuse about, you know, eating a lot of eggs and getting clomiphene in them, the WBC is essentially signaling that even if you don't go to the UK and get a license, Conor Benn, wherever you decide to get a fight, and there's rumors of Pacquiao Benn being a fight that could probably happen over in Dubai or Saudi, that we will dip our beak into those purses. We are totally fine calling that a WBC title fight or whatever. I mean, they gave Jake Paul and Tommy Fury a belt today that they can fight over. When I used to write a column, I would refer to them as Weeby Crooks. And that was under Don Jose. Now under Mauricio, I thought things were changing, but this is terrible. I mean, it's, you know, in the same report that they're buying this ridiculous excuse, they're saying that VADA did nothing wrong. And to me, a guy that was pushing VADA since their inception, much to my professional denigration, a guy's taking away my credentials and calling me this, that, and the other thing. And I work for Margaret Goodman and I work for Victor Conte and all this bullshit. One of the reasons I don't write anymore. I just look at it and say, every time you do this to VADA, it's like you're reaching in their mouth and just pulling another tooth out. You know, they don't adjudicate the sentences. They just catch people. That's all they do. They do it very well, and a higher percentage than any other anti-doping agency going today. And what the WBC does is undercut them every chance they get. To me, it's like the whole reason the clean boxing program exists at this point seems to be to pretend that they have a drug testing policy. Now, the last thing I'll add, and I'll shut up, is Dan Raphael pointed this out in his Substack, that in the clean boxing program, there isn't a clause or an idea called strict liability that all the other anti-doping agencies go by. Strict liability means if it's in your body and you tested positive for it, it's on you because the athlete is responsible for what goes in his body. But apparently in the clean boxing program, it doesn't exist. That's probably also why the lawyers went there. And so they're not holding him responsible for these 2 positives that he had. Instead, they're letting it go. And somebody else, I think it was Danny Flexen from Seconds Out, pointed out that this excuse only came up 3 weeks ago. The excuse they were coming up with at first was attacking VADA and saying that they screwed up. Now they're saying they didn't screw up, but it was the eggs. I mean, what do you think it is? I know what my experience tells me is that you take clomiphene when you're coming off of steroids in order to balance out your estrogen, so you don't end up with man breasts, among other things. That's why it's used. So yeah, I find it completely disgusting. I think the WBC is sullying themselves even further than they are by giving Jake Paul and Tommy Fury a belt to fight over. It's gross.
How about a follow-up for you? So I've come up with a conclusion at this point that in most cases, it appears that the drug testing posturing done by, let's say, the WBC and promoters like Eddie Hearn, it's really only for the B side fighter. It's not really for the A side fighter. Exactly is that assessment correct?
That's exactly right. There's a reason why, when this all started, it was Floyd Mayweather pushing this. But how come Floyd never did the clean boxing program or the 365 program that VADA offers? He never even did VADA. It's because he wanted to be in control of the testing. I printed several of their contracts. I think I've got like 5 of them. And there's a clause in there where things don't kick in. If you don't do the B sample, no one needs to know about the drug positive, right? VADA is like, no, we're in control of the results. We give it to the governing bodies, the sanctioning bodies, the other parties involved, and we let that result go out. I think everybody in boxing has learned from Lance Armstrong, only do testing when you want to do testing, be in control of the results. And like you said, it's for the B side, it's not for the A side. And you can see that in evidence from the very first 2 positives that VADA caught, which was Lamont Peterson and Andre Berto. 2 guys that asked for the VADA testing, and Al Heyman and the whole camps and Golden Boy were like, stick with USADA. And there was a reason for that. It was because they were in control of the results. So now what we're seeing today with Eddie Hearn blaming everybody but the guy that tested positive, and the WBC going with it, and the the British Boxing Board of Control saying, hey man, we haven't even gotten this report. It just all adds up to, it's like I said, it's a charm offensive. They're trying to move the Overton window from my guy tested positive to the system is screwed up and why should we even have this thing?
Very well said. Nika, that was such an excellent take by Montoya. You got to follow that up. But what did you make of the news, and what do you make of the WBC's decision of Mauricio Sauliman?
I thought it was complete bullshit. I felt like if you give this man a blowjob or like a hand job, he's gonna just give you what you want. But I know it was money. I'm not saying that he got a blowjob. I know it was money that was probably passed around. But I do think that, it doesn't take much to sweep things under the rug. But this is I thought they were gonna come back with a better excuse than the eggs. But my mom has chickens and we had to take to her property in the middle of nowhere. But now I need to see if those chickens are producing eggs that can make me probably get in the ring too. I think it's bullshit, and I really don't know why they even have testing in place, because it doesn't do anything. Like most of the fighters that are tested and then they come back positive, the positive tests sometimes come back after the fight. So to me, that kind of defeats the purpose of taking the test, because it's like, okay, your sample came back positive, the fight's over. So it's like, aren't you supposed to prevent me from fighting a person that's dirty? So I really don't know what they need to do to get these tests to be more effective to the fighters themselves, because people are dying in the ring. So I don't know, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So Conor Benn is like on Twitter pumping his chest, talking shit like he really didn't pop dirty. He's going back and forth with Errol Spence. I don't know if you saw the back and forth with him and Errol Spence. He say, "Oh, you need to be worrying about your drinking and everything like that." And Errol Spence is like, I'm drinking, you're taking Pez. It's like two different things, so it's like he even thinks it's like Conor Benn himself knows the testing is a crock of shit. So it's like, why even have it in place? Like it does nothing for the sport at all, in my opinion. Because if I'm fighting somebody right before the fight, I want to know what the testing says. I don't want to find out after the fight. I want to know right before the fight. Okay, so it's a bunch of bullshit to me, in my opinion. So.
Sutter Kane, a couple times you won the round table and it was like, oh, the destroyer, Conor Benn, he's better than Boots and he's better than Virgil, and you know what I mean? Like, oh, Conor Benn, do you see how badass? Look how dominant he looks in the ring, and now we got to start questioning how he was looking in the ring now.
Well, it's the same with Canelo and the meat. You know what I'm saying? So, he's part of the same thing now. We're part, and I like to give a shout out to.
It isn't actually the same as the Conor.
Well, hold on. I'm just saying. I like to give a shout out to Mauricio Sauliman. You know what I'm saying? He did a great job to my homeboy, Conor Benn. Conor Benn's my favorite up and coming. So, we part of the meat team now, the street meat. So, we got to watch the eggs in the UK. We don't know how them eggs are, man. Them eggs can be produced differently, and the nigga might like eggs. So, you know what I'm saying? So I totally, I support this, and not support the Peds part, but we got to blame the UK for the eggs. The same with Canelo with the street meat. But I put it to you this way. I can't wait to see him his next fight. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna make mine short and simple. I do think he's better than Boots. I think Boots is a hype job, in my opinion. Damn. And you know me, I've always liked Conor Benn since the day one. So I'm not gonna jump off the train now. It's the same with you with Canelo with the meat. It's okay though.
So wait,
Gabe, tell him what Canelo did to clear his name, Gabe. Tell him what Canelo did to clear his name.
He switched butchers?
For one, clomiphene isn't allowed in poultry in the UK. So, so if he provided receipts for all the eggs he bought for training camp, how do we know that he's the one that ate all those eggs? Does it say on the receipt these are only for Conor's consumption?
Well, maybe they were imported somehow, and he just likes those particular eggs. Like,
that's the problem. You start looking at it from a fan perspective, guys. This is a sport. Obviously, you like Conor Benn, therefore you see.
I like Conor Benn.
Honestly, Canelo is just as guilty, and the fans need to accept it. His fans need to understand and admit that he tested positive, and it was not a mistake. The way Oscar Valdez also tested positive for some tea that he took in the same camp where Canelo happens to train at.
And also, I would like to know what tea that was, because
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I want to lose weight too.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Hold on. I'm gonna be honest with you, yo. Me personally, yo, the dude might like eggs. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Just like how
but wait, do you buy that?
One at a time.
It's not whether I buy it or not. I'm just saying the man might like eggs.
But hold up.
Canelo likes street meat.
Let's stop for a second. Let's stop. Gabe was in the middle making a point, so let's let him finish his point, and then Nika can go, and then you can go again.
Canelo actually did provide apparently receipts to the WBC. I'd like full transparency as an ex-reporter and just a person who likes journalism and facts. I think there needs to be transparency. I think the 270-page report needs to go out to reporters, but also the documents showing Conor Benn's adverse results, which have not been released, need to come out. I'd love to see the rest.
The egg defense does have possibilities of working, bro. If you know anything about it.
We'll actually get there in just like two seconds. But what Canelo did that was different than Conor Benn was he entered into 365 VADA testing, did it for a year, passed it. But he also he was the second fighter to do this. He did the hair follicle test, which shows long-term use. And it did not show long-term use of the drug that he was caught with. So I buy his cover story based on science. Conor Benn has done neither of those things. He has not released any of his results to reporters. He's only given it to the WBC. Didn't give it to the people that are actually, responsible for giving him a license, which is the BBOC. So there's a very clear difference here. I'm not a fan of either guy.
Well, I believe
Canelo did a 6-month suspension, and he also did. Gabe, correct me if I'm wrong. Did he not get the receipts from the places he ate the meat at? He went above and beyond.
In his country of like precedent of like 11 soccer players that got hit with clenbuterol in their meat because Mexico allowed it, unlike the UK, which does not allow clomiphene.
The man might like
I
that.
know
All right,
a lot of to gases, and I'll stop dominating the conversation. 3 years ago now, March, WADA announced that they were going to begin testing poultry, testing clomiphene in eggs. That they were hearing a problem. Now it's either actually a problem because of the way food is treated, or a lot of athletes are using clomiphene, but are using this as an excuse, and WADA is doing a test in order to find that out. I have not found the results of that study yet. Maybe it hasn't even come out. Maybe it's in the 270 pages report that Conor Benn won't give anybody. I don't know. I rest my case.
Man, even Major Key's giving Montoya his respect. Look at that. You know what I mean? Hey, Nika, you had something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to. So Sutter, you're really buying this egg story? Like, whatever results they gave to Mauricio Sauliman, it was in an envelope with a little bit of cash in it. Like, come on. You're really buying this egg story? Like, seriously.
I mean, when has boxing been like a moral sport of?
No, but I'm asking you, like.
No, I understand what you're saying. But I'm giving
in
you my
your
answer.
opinion, do you?
Let me tell you something.
Are you buying this?
It is a sport governed by rules.
In my opinion, if Mauricio Sauliman and them said it was eggs, I believe them because.
But Sutter.
I have a picture to tell you. Come on.
They're already doing memes.
Tell me.
Go ahead, Pete. Give us your take. Go ahead.
They're already doing memes with pizza with eggs on them. Like they're making a joke of this, and that's
they made a joke of Canelo. Oh, it's okay. Like
go ahead and give your take, Joe.
They don't. That's the thing. You're not allowed to make jokes of Canelo, but you are allowed to make jokes of others. So that's kind of where it's got to stay consistent with all.
What I'm saying is,
I just think the devil's in the detail.
Let me just finish it. What I'm saying is it's a bad look because people are laughing at this sport because of it.
Bro, they've been laughing at this sport for years.
I mean,
we got Jake Paul
but that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And
no, I agree with you, Beeb. I'm not disagreeing, but what I'm saying is
embarrassing.
that
It's embarrassing. Like,
dude, we got YouTubers fighting for.
I'm not a big.
Let's let Beeb give us take, guys. Order. Go ahead,
I'm not a big PED police guy, but the thing is this: if you're gonna implement something, you got to follow it, right? And I talked to D-Style earlier today about this. It's like the 2008 housing crisis, right? This is like the 2008 housing crisis, right? When you had the banks that had all those people default on the loans, and the banks were too big to fail, right? So they got bailed out, but the smaller banks did not, right? And what happened when the banks got bailed out? They bought all the smaller banks. So it just kind of expands upon your point about how the A side is gonna always prevail in this situation, right? So that's what it's all about, And again, Canelo did do the 6-month suspension, but one thing I do, and the year of Vada. What I do respect what Canelo did was he actually provided evidence. He did the hair follicle test. He got the receipts, and there were people, other athletes in Mexico at that time that were testing positive for clenbuterol, but he did his time. Conor Benn is not suffering any punishment here. So I don't think it's a fair comparison. Go ahead, Gib. Do you want to just chime in with something?
Oh, and the hair follicle tests, just representing as the follicle challenge guy on the panel, it comes best from the body because it doesn't, apparently it holds whatever's going on better. It doesn't get bleached by the sun, etc.
All I'm saying is this, yo. Jake Paul's fighting on Sunday, and we talking about like the embarrassment of boxing, and KSI just fought.
Yeah, but
let's. But I don't know what that has to do with the price.
That has a lot. No, but the point I'm trying to make is that when you said that it's embarrassing to boxing, like
I get it.
There's levels to embarrassing.
But let's just proceed. Okay, we got some other people that want to give the take. Go ahead, Bruce Goss. What do you make about the news of Conor Benn with the eggs and Mauricio Sauliman's decision to reinstate him?
All right, man. First of all, I have a little bit of background in this. I sold nutritional supplements for 25 years. I'm a nutritional technician. I've given many athletes drug tests. I have many ideas on how they should give drug tests. The egg thing. See, Conor Benn, he's consuming eggs are the largest source of protein you can consume without getting into your protein powders. Eggs are the ultimate source of protein. And athletes who take steroids, what steroids do is they convert protein to muscle. You have to consume massive amounts, and eggs are always the go-to food. You put them in your shakes, you fry them, you scramble them, whatever. But I mean, when I was bodybuilding, I was eating it easily every day. But my point is, what that does is that will do things to the receptors in your body, and so drug tests will show up differently with somebody who consumes massive amounts of protein than they would for someone like you or me. So he has a defense where Mauricio rather, he just doesn't want to be bothered getting the lawyers because they had that little crack of doubt they could get in there with some good attorneys, and it would be totally in favor of Conor Benn. So Mauricio says, "Hey, I'll go for that, man. Let's get these fights going again." To me, that's business as usual. The whole steroid business in boxing, I think it's terrible, bro. I mean, I can see baseball, football, whatever, man, but boxing is the name of the game is to hurt your opponent, and there's no place for it. I saw Errol Spence today made some kind of comment where he wanted to test athletes 10 times a year. He wanted hair tests once a year. Great, man. Stick a lie detector in there every few months too, because you got to get the drugs out of boxing. And Conor Benn, he found a way through the litigation system to get that done, and now he's sticking his middle finger out at boxing, and the show goes on, brother.
I'm sorry. He was a walking poster board for steroids. Did you see him? Like, I mean, seriously, the man was on fucking steroids. Like, he was a walking poster board for steroids. Like, let's not say it's eggs. A stutter.
Say he was a pharmacy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, let me tell you something. What did Mauricio Sauliman say?
But let's let MC the patient waiting. So let's let MC get in here. MC, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I mean, my first thought is like, are you surprised? First of all, that's my first question. Are you surprised?
A little bit, MC. A little bit.
How can you be surprised when he walks around wearing merchandise from a specific fighter when you're not supposed to show favoritism? That's the first thing.
We're talking about Eddie Hearn?
Okay. I'm talking about Mauricio Sauliman
okay.
wearing, correct, yes. Okay, so that's the first point.
True.
Second of all, I mean, they all have a different excuse. It's like I was born at night, but not last night. So if you believe that other story about the meat, then you gotta believe this one too. And you drank the tea also. So let's
you're never going to see an athlete.
Exactly. However, you cannot be. You can't go around praising them and treating them.
But let's let MC finish. Go ahead, MC.
That is where the concern comes in. There is favoritism, and we as fans can no longer support that. If you want a clean system, guess what? Me as a fighter, unfortunately, they don't have the capability to do this because of different reasons. I'm no longer going to fight for the WBC. Guess what? You allow cheaters, PED users to fight for your association. Therefore, I no longer want to be associated with you. That is going to be the only way. And like y'all mentioned earlier, why do you think Floyd did it his way? Because he's visionary. So therefore,
no, that's not why he did it.
MC, I agree with you.
Okay,
let's let her finish. So let's let her finish.
So,
let me just say one thing here.
Yes.
When I sold nutritional supplements, one of the largest selling products that I sold was something called Strip, and you would take that and it would cleanse your body. You could pass a drug test with it until the labs discovered that, so they made something where they could detect Strip in there. But the pharmaceutical companies, the supplement companies, they'll find something that can cover up. It's a cat and mouse game. It's a cat and mouse game. It's not going to stop.
Okay, but let's let MC finish your point, though. Go ahead.
Correct. They allow it to get it to a certain level. It's like a little kid. You do things and then you don't get caught, and then you do more and you don't get caught. And guess what? Sometimes they even raise the levels for those fights. Did they not? Okay, because they found it in a lot of different people, right? So at the end of the day, I'm not ignoring evidence, guys. All I'm saying, and I respect Canelo for doing the 6-month suspension. I respect him for doing the hair follicle. I respect him for providing receipts. But guess what? Anybody can go to a restaurant in Mexico and tell them to print a receipt for them. Let's be honest. So
Thank you.
all I want is for all fighters to be treated the same. That's all I'm saying. And other fighters should take a stand and say, guess what? I am no longer going to allow you to continue to allow dirty fighters to put my life in danger. For example, Miguel Bercher could have died that night with that horrible knockout that he received from Oscar Valdez, guys. It was sad. It was very, very sad.
All right, so let me get my take.
That's all.
All right, so I'm going to get my take real quick, and we could always, I know everyone has things to add, but let me just say this. So let's take the most crime-ridden city alive right now, like Chicago. You take your pick, okay? Well, whatever the city is, okay? And let's say anyone here is accused of murder, right? And then you go to court, and you prove that you did not commit the murder with evidence, with scientific evidence. You prove it. How would you feel? People just came out and said, "Yeah, but look at the city you live in. There's murders everywhere. Like this city isn't a city of integrity. Murders are happening all the time." Let me take it a step further. Let's say you go to prison, and you're accused of stabbing somebody to death in a jail cell, and your innocence is proven. Are you really going to say, come on, it's a bunch of criminals and killers in the jail? So why would I believe that you didn't do it? That's how people sound when we ignore evidence. Like that's how it sounds when evidence is presented to you in terms of, let's take Canelo, for example, okay? Canelo provided receipts of the restaurants he ate at, right? If we want to say, MC, well, he just paid somebody off to print some receipts. Well, you have to provide me evidence of that. Like, you can't just say that. You have to actually show me how he did that. Because if your default position is, well, the whole sport's corrupt, therefore they're going to do everything that's done is corrupt, then we can't follow any type of evidence at that point. Like he did, like what he did, even if you don't believe, you don't have to believe Canelo. What I'm saying is what he provided is far beyond anything Conor Benn provided. It's not a perfect parallel. It's not the same thing. Conor Benn just made up the egg thing out of his ass. Okay, the Canelo thing, you can actually show that there was other athletes in other sports that have nothing to do with boxing, like in soccer, that were testing positive for the same exact thing because of contaminated meat in Mexico. That was actually the argument for that. Now, if you don't want to believe that, if you think an apparatus was put together, right, to like they made up a whole story about contaminated meat in all of Mexico. They came up with a whole story to prove that athletes that have nothing to do with boxing, like in soccer, tested positive for the same drug Canelo tested positive for. That's your right. You know what I mean? But in Conor Benn's case, I don't see any UK soccer players that were caught with this saying that they were eating eggs. I don't see like this being a trend in the UK. This is literally something that was not tested for. He did not do any hair follicle tests because he tested positive multiple times at different occasions. This was not just like a one thing. He tested positive several times. They knew about the positive test, and the BBOC didn't want to do anything about it. They were still wondering, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to do something about it or not? Right? So the situation is not 100% the same, right? And what I will agree with is this: when Sauliman does something like this, right? He just takes the word of Conor Benn. He sets what Gabriel Montoya called the precedent. He has set a precedent now, right? But that also has effects on the past. So now people start doing the same lazy argument that Sutter Kane just made, and they say things like, well, they did it for Canelo, so why wouldn't they do it for Conor Benn? Right?
You're leaving Oscar Valdez out. Do not leave Oscar Valdez out of this.
Well, in the Oscar Valdez situation, he did the same exact thing. Like he did it. Like,
so
they hired Wada for a job, and then he tried to use the argument that USADA, right, wouldn't have suspended them, so therefore we're going to follow USADA's rules or WADA's rules, whatever he did, right? Yeah. So I'm in agreement with that. Yeah. You don't have to believe the Canelo story. You don't. What I'm saying is that Canelo went to lengths to prove his innocence, even if you don't believe he was innocent. that were far greater than Conor Benn. Is that something you could agree to?
You
And they
agree
will
to the
further
fact
grow-
that his path prior to be testing, did he not have better performances prior to this positive test? He did. It affected his
Canelo
whole
or-
career.
or-
Canelo. He did.
Canelo became undisputed champion after all that.
Yeah,
I'm not
the
saying
knockouts
he's
after all that.
continuing to use PEDs today. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that people want to forget that that there is evidence. You want to keep talking about the evidence. The evidence showed that he did test positive. You cannot
yeah.
erase that from history. That is
But then
all I'm
he-
saying.
But then he showed that
There is no but. There is no but.
Hang on, I'm sorry,
Anything
I'll-
that
I'll-
says
hair
before but
follicle
doesn't
Can I
matter.
finish my
which
sentence,
shows-
please? Because then he provided receipts of the tainted meat where he got it. Then he took a hair follicle test that showed there was no long-term use. He actually backed up his story with science. Here's the other reason that I like to stick with facts, because, you know, I broke a lot of stories of fighters testing positive, but I also have broken two where they were accused of being positive. And in fact, it was in one case, it was Lamont Peterson and Kendall Holt. Holt was actually the guy that had tested positive when it was initially reported that it was Lamont Peterson testing positive again. I was able to prove that that was not true. But one of the last stories I broke was when Kung Lee was accused by the UFC of testing positive for HGH. And they banned him. It was his last fight, and they ruined his name. Then I got all the documents, as I was calling for earlier, and it showed that he'd actually never been tested for HGH. And they thought he had elevated levels, and so they accused him of it and ruined his name. And when I printed all those documents on bloodyelbow.com, the UFC suddenly called up USADA and began having a drug testing program. So that's why I like to have all the facts come in on something rather than accusing based on my bias, based on something that happened. I mean, you would be surprised to know that, you know, Lamont Peterson, the first guy that VADA tested, he's the one that asked for the testing. And all the while he'd had what he thought was okay to have a testosterone pellet in his hip given to him by a wellness doctor. Every positive test is a story waiting to be told. And the story is found in the details of it.
I want to clarify, I am not in any way saying Canelo is currently using PEDs. That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is there was a positive result, and that is it. That's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you have a right to your opinion. That no one's discrediting your opinion at all.
Yeah, not at all.
My point. This is my point, MC, and I think Gabe. I don't want to speak for Gabe, but I think he's going in the same direction I'm going in. None of these guys provide evidence. I've never seen any fighter provide evidence. Canelo, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, is the only fighter to go to these lengths to actually prove his innocent. Everyone else has just said, take my word for it. And that's what Mauricio Sauliman's doing with Conor Benn. He's saying, I'm taking his word for it. There is no scientific, and with all due respect to Bruce, no one eats more eggs than bodybuilders, right? But they don't test positive for Clomid, right? You know what I'm saying? You have to eat an exorbitant amount of eggs. And not only this, your body can only assimilate a certain amount of protein at a time, too. And, you know, a lot of that gets wasted. Yeah,
but Joe, you don't agree that the dangerous thing what Sauliman just did is that it delegitimizes anyone who's actually trying to prove their innocence, right?
Yes.
So I think anyone should have the ability to prove their innocence, but they have to provide a hair follicle test, which Conor Benn did not do, which people need to acknowledge.
There is no science.
There is no science. Again, they don't like. We can't forget that Oscar Valdez also tested positive.
Oh, he shouldn't have been allowed to fight.
I don't think so
either.
He should not have been allowed to fight Oscar Valdez. I agree with you 100% on that. And again, Canelo was he faced a suspension. He did his time. This guy's not even the British Board of Boxing Control is not even going to license him.
Yeah,
they don't, because they have not been given evidence, and he refuses to give the evidence. Right?
And that's the thing is an innocent man would do everything innocent man would do everything he could to prove his innocence. Like in the case of Lamont Peterson, who at the time thought he was innocent, he brought his doctor and his trainer onto the phone with me. And we did an interview, and it was only because I knew how testosterone, synthetic testosterone is made, that I was able to expose his doctor when he said, oh, it was organic. It was made from soy or yams. So I'm like, yeah, it's still testosterone because they're all made from that. And in the case of Kung Lee, he gave me all his paperwork within like a day, because he was innocent. That's not what Conor Benn's been doing.
There's no science behind this. There's no medical scientific data here. This is just, I'm taking his word for it. And the BBOC will not license him because they have not been given any evidence to do so. But the WBC, as D-Style has said, they're making a strong precedent here, and they're saying, we believe him. And this whole thing about, again, I don't dislike Conor Benn. I don't know him from a can of paint. But this whole thing, when you hear these guys from Talk Sport, they're railing against Eddie Hearn and everyone else. Oh, but I hope Conor Benn clears his name. He's a nice guy. Like, what does that have to do with the tea in China? Like, he tested positive. Like, he's the one that's like getting a pass here by everybody, and everyone's like jumping all over Eddie Hearn.
He gets my pass.
I mean, let me ask a question. This is somebody that's been going on at it for a long time.
Don't get mad at the eggs. You know what I'm saying? We need to get mad at the juice man.
Like, you got to think that they've been doing greenies as long as baseball players were, right? Post World War II, everybody comes back, and in baseball, everybody's doing speed. So you got to figure that boxers were probably doing speed in the 15-round era. They're all ripped like a meth addict. They're all like tight and fighting often and fighting very long time.
A lot of cocaine use back then too.
Yeah, in the 70s and the 80s. At a certain point, like yesterday when this thing came out, I was like, should I just stop caring about this? Am I the naive one? Because I've had more than one off the record, very famous boxing person tell me, yeah, nobody cares. This sport's dirty. What do you
I've
do?
been saying that this whole time I've been here. That was my whole trolling point. Nobody cares. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, if you go to star fighter, they don't care.
Gabe, I have to be honest with you. I have to be honest with you, Gabe. I stopped
care.
caring 10 years ago.
I agree with you. The clean fighters care, but what I'm saying is that the system of boxing does not care. It is a corrupt sport, the most corrupt sport I've ever seen. And it's the truth. If you don't believe that, then it's like we're living in fairy tale land. Like, this is a corrupt sport, man.
I mean,
like,
one of my favorite quotes is,
I agree with you, but it is what it is.
I guess I've known too many fighters. I worked the beat, in LA like 6 years. I was a beat writer for all told like about 10 years. I've seen guys get brain damage.
Bro, I agree.
I was at the Magomed fight, and you just, I don't know. For me, it was writing about this stuff was the price for getting such a good seat.
I think here's the thing. I get that Joe Habib and Sutter King have already given up and they don't care like I care. Okay. At the end of the day, the answer is not give cheaters less roadblocks. Even if the roadblocks are weak, it doesn't mean you take them away, right? If you live in back to my crime-ridden city example, you don't make murder legal just because, because everything's corrupt, right? You still make it illegal because it's still a deterrent, right? The embarrassment of getting caught, like the fact is, if you get caught with something, that's it. Like, your name is tainted forever, even if you try to prove your innocence. That deterrent does stop individuals. It makes them think twice, and maybe they still do it anyway, some of them, but not all of them, right? And I have talked to fighters before and say I think it's bullshit when people say all fighters do it, because I don't fucking do it. And I'm tired of people saying that because I don't do it. They've told me that personally. And it is bullshit when people just say they all do it. You're wrong. Maybe most of them, maybe a lot of them, but not all of them. And the ones that don't do it, you don't get to tell them now, just take it and just let everybody do it. I just don't believe in that. That's just my personal opinion.
Can I just add one last thing? And I want to ask both yourself and Gabe a question, and I think you kind of alluded to it already. Do you think the top level guys are doing it and getting away with it?
Well,
one of the top level guys just got
one of my favorite quotes was from Memo Heredia, Juan Manuel Marquez's guy, apparently Jake Paul's guy, and David Benavidez's guy, if you believe the rumors. And he says a peak performance at the elite level of sports without doping is a fairy tale, my friend. And that was after like his 2008 documentary where he injected EPO into his stomach. But then, I know all the guys that hang out with Victor Conte, and I consider Victor to be clean. I watched him open that gym and worked in there, shot like over 30 videos there, and I've known Victor since I think 2010. I don't think he's a dirty guy. And so, you know, just because we're a dope dealer doesn't mean you still are. But I have my suspicions about Memo and anybody that works with him, because to me, the pattern I saw with Victor, when fighters would show up, it almost felt like people were sniffing around and like, does he have the secret sauce? And oh, he's doing this other thing, and they buy into the thing that he's doing because it works. But everybody's looking for something. The word doping comes from the original Olympics. It was a substance called dupe that the athletes used to take. It was a viscous opium juice. That's the etymology of the word doping. 7 AD, I think, or 11 AD, whenever the first Olympics was. So, yeah, I think a lot of them are doing it.
Real quick before we end this part. First of all, Victor Conte is the OG juice man. The OG juice man. That's the first thing. Let's get that facts. Okay, so now we got that out the way. The point I'm trying to make is this, man. We don't know who's doing what. And until a top fighter says, I'm not fighting that guy because he might be on something, it's going to continue to go. It's going to take like a good 3 or 4 top fighters to say, nah, I'm not fighting him. Or a contender to say who's up there, like a good B contender to say, nah, I'm not fighting him. You feel what I'm saying? But until then, they don't give a shit. And I'm sad to say, and I agree with you, I wish all the rules were like that, but it's not, bro. It's just not. And it's been like that forever in boxing.
Even the Floyd thing, he kind of did that with Pacquiao, but it was, in my opinion, more, I'm not fighting that guy until I can control his cycle and put him on mine.
I can see that. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. Everything you spitting is facts, but the point I'm trying to make is that to the people who control the money aspect of this, they don't give a shit. Care. They don't give 2 shits. So that's what I'm trying to say is that if Conor Benn says it's the eggs, who the fuck am I to fucking say it's
really quick? Because we just got Gabe for
I'm not going to buy. But wait, can I address somebody in the comments? Is that you in the comments, Joe? Saying that everybody on the panel is
no, that's
somebody said
that's JC.
Oh, because of the ringside reporter logo. Is that why?
He has my logo. He has my logo. He lost the bet.
JC was you
he
too.
Said that all of us are.
But hold that thought really quick, because we just got Gabe for a couple, like maybe 2-3 minutes. So really quick, Gabe.
Okay.
Because this is the next topic. What do you make of Jake Paul, Tommy Fury being for this made up WBC belt? It's just an 8-round fight. Both of them haven't done shit in boxing, but for some reason they're going to be fighting for a belt. What do you make of the fight itself and the WBC kind of trying to legitimize it, and also saying that basically if Jake Paul wins, they're going to put him in the ratings?
I think that if I was the PR person for the WBC, I couldn't have drawn up their Conor Benn ruling and this Jake Paul decision to have a belt better. If I was trying to, do public relations to show that I'm all about the money and really kind of have no soul or integrity whatsoever, this would be a perfect way to show that. There's these back-to-back things. It's a flesh sport. It's a flesh trade. They are flesh peddlers, and actually worse, they just dip their beak off of the flesh peddlers. I remember a long time ago when Don Jose was on Leave It in the Ring, and the first question I asked him is, what is the sanctioning body for? And it seemed to make him as angry as when I asked Floyd Mayweather, why are you doing drug testing now? It was like the real reason that they were doing the thing they were doing was way underneath, and I wasn't allowed to see it. And he never really gave me a straight answer. So, it's just business as usual. I mean, they're helping, sports wash, the Saudis. Everybody's fine with opening up this brand new market for money and ignoring the crimes against humanity there. But, it's boxing, and if you were trying to do a fight in a place without crimes against humanity, maybe I'd suggest the moon.
Well, there you go. There you go. Hey, Gabe, I know we got to get going. You have a good one, brother.
Hey, man. It's been great to be with you all. Peace.
Peace. Nika, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury for a belt. I don't even know the name of the belt. I can't pronounce it. But what do you make of it? And all that.
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted, to be honest. I have a couple of belts in my closet that, if you guys want to fight for it, we can do that too. I just feel like it's a bullshit. Money talks. So I'm pretty sure they passed some money for this belt. Like, it's just a shit show. I'm not a Jake Paul fan, and he's not a boxer to me. He's just like somebody, a YouTuber. Like, you know what really irritates me is that he makes more money in boxing than actual boxers that have put their blood, sweat, and tears to this sport for years. That I'm just being honest. That's the thing that annoys me the most. So I could give two fucks about this fight. You know, I hope the ring collapses. I don't even give a fuck about that fight, to be honest.
Want some violence out here? Like, well, I want these guys to go
because
die.
It's corny. I don't even know why he's even.
Hey, I don't want to upset you more, but Mike Tyson's out there.
Yeah, but I know they probably gave him a paycheck. Mike paid his dues, so we're not gonna bring Mike in here and say, "Oh, Mike said no." Mike paid his. Mike is a real boxer. Okay, Iron Mike. He's come on. Jake Paul, he's a clown. He's a fucking clown. I don't care what nobody says. And I hope the ring collapses. I do not want to see this man fighting for no belt. Like, there are other boxers in the sport who have not gotten the shot or even gotten the payday.
Hypothetically,
you know,
when the ring collapses, like, what do you envision? Like, how does Jake Paul fall? Like, when it collapses, like, does he fall on his head? Like what? Like,
I just hope the middle just. I just hope the middle just dips in like this, and then fight over. That's it.
We never see him again. Like,
isn't that happening, bro?
And then we never see him again. Like, just help promote women's boxing because he's good at that. I'll give him that. He's good at helping, Amanda Serrano, make money. But do that. He's better to me as a promoter in women's boxing. But as a boxing, I don't take him serious, and that's just my opinion. I do not take him serious. I don't care. I don't care about him. I don't care. I can't stand him. I just can't.
Bruce Goss, how do you care about this fight, and who do you think's gonna win?
Sunday night, man. I got nothing better to do. I can stream it in, no problem, man. This is like in school we used to go behind the gym and we used to watch the guys fight. This is kind of the same thing. And I've watched Jake Paul. I don't know, 5 or 6 of his fights. I saw Tommy Fury the last time he fought. I think Jake Paul's going to knock him out, man. Just by looking at the fights. But it's not real boxing, bro. This is, like I said, down to the Grange. Down to the I'll meet you in the backyard kind of a thing, and it's fun. But Mauricio Sauliman, he'll manufacture these belts, and he'll just generate money. He'll create a sanctioning fee. It's all part of the game because I hear so many good things that Mauricio does for old fighters. He pays guys rents for a year. He helps out some of the guys that I hang with, and but then all of a sudden I hear some of this other bullshit that he pulls, and Mauricio, he was groomed as a child for what he's doing now, and you notice the WBC, just like the WBA, father to son presidency for life. And we support them. What they dictate, we follow. The boxers follow. It's crazy. But getting back to your point, these styles, I'm looking forward to it, man. Sunday night, it's either that or maybe King of the Ring or whatever else they got going on. But if it's 2 guys, mano a mano, I'll watch Jake Paul. I think he's going to take Tyson Fury or Tommy Fury's head off, and it'll be kind of interesting. It'll be entertaining on a level.
Okay, all right.
Okay, man.
MC, talk to us. Are you excited for this fight, and who do you think is going to win?
I mean, I'm going to have to agree with Bruce. What else are we going to do on a Saturday night? There's no more football. It's over. Unless you're a Chiefs fan, we're still crying down here in Texas. So you know how that went. So, yeah, I'm going to watch this fight. And guess what? I'm happy for Jake. Who said that they're going to rank him number 5? No one said that. All they said is that he was going to get ranked in the WBC. Again, are we predicting that they're going to put him in the top 10 because we already know how the WBC operates? Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm interested in the undercard. We have the guy that was supposed to fight Canelo, Makabu. I'm excited to see that fight against Baru Jack for a real belt, right? So I think it's going to be great. Jake Paul, he's getting paid, again, like you said, Nika, way more money than any other fighters. But guess what he's doing? He's putting that money back into his promotion company, and he's getting people like Amanda Serrano paid. I don't see anybody else doing that. I don't see other big fighters doing that for their up and coming promotion companies or whatever. Maybe Earl Spence is doing that, right? So I appreciate that Jake is doing that. He's also not just picked up boxing last week. He lives in Puerto Rico. He's out there living the life of a boxer. So I appreciate.
He's living in Puerto Rico for a different reason, not for boxing though. It's not for boxing. Well, He's living in Puerto Rico for a different reason. It's like tax evasion and stuff like that. It's not for boxing. Not for boxing.
Nika, look at Nika knows the.
I can see that. I can see that. But
go ahead, MC.
I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico. So
I know.
He's not in Puerto Rico for boxing. It's definitely like. You know,
all right, but
I'm sure that keeps him off living in Miami, for example, or maybe in California with all the fame and all that surrounding. So, additionally, he comes in shape. This guy's not messing around where he's not coming in shape like some professional boxers do. So, I love Jake. I can't wait to see what he does. I'm not saying he's the next undisputed heavyweight or cruiserweight or anything like that. I do see him getting a big fight with another person like Chavez Jr. That might be coming down the street. So,
all right,
I'm
sorry to interrupt you, but there's somebody in the chat. I don't know, Rider of the Storm. What's up with the hater, Rosie Perez? Bitch, my name is Nika. I'm not Rosie Perez. I'm sorry that you don't like my accent or how the way I talk, but address me accordingly. My name is Nika, bitch.
Damn.
All right.
All right.
Maybe it was me too.
You're not gonna disrespect. All right. No, because he was calling me a hater because I was hating on Jake Paul, and I'm gonna keep hating on Jake Paul. But you're gonna call me by my name. All right. Go suck a dick if you don't like it. All right.
Remember it.
What you're gonna do is go suck a dick if you don't like it.
Nike's like the female son.
You could do it. You could do it in Puerto Rico as well if you like. All right.
I don't have to say anything that much no more. That's easy to be me.
If ever I have a problem, but I have to go. I have to throw it on with someone. I'm taking you with me.
But just in case, MC, go ahead and finish your take.
I'm looking forward to the fight, and we'll be tuned in.
Oh man! Well, that's good. That is getting it quick. Woo! All right, Sutter Kane. Got to follow that up now. You got to cuss somebody out of the chat.
He's buying this. He's buying the pay-per-view. He's buying it.
We're talking boxing here. There's no need to be like disrespecting anybody on the panel or none of that. Because I'm telling you, if you disrespect me, I'm gonna cuss you the fuck out, and that's that. So continue with your question.
MC is the realist. Seems like me and her on the same page with a lot of things going on here. So I like to give you a shout out, a high five. I'm the calm one today. You feel what I'm saying? Usually I'm Nika, but today I'm the calm one.
Are you gonna cuss somebody out?
No, not today. I say it like this, man. Jake Paul is the future of boxing. Okay,
when he does
Jake Paul is the future of boxing. So anybody who doesn't like that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta question a lot of things because Jake Paul is gonna be a champion one day via the WBC. You know what I'm saying? The same people with the eggs and the meat. So the whole point I'm trying to make is that, I mean, I'm actually excited for the fight. I'm gonna have a fight party and everything. I'm actually excited for this fight. I think he's gonna beat the shit out of Tommy Fury, and I think Tommy Fury is a hype job. And I think, like I said, man, Jake Paul, he's done a lot for boxing, more than a lot of people who do this every day have not done for boxing. Until the best fight the best, we're gonna have a ton of Jake Pauls. So you just gotta adjust to it and enjoy it for what it's worth, because we love a sport that has no type of not only use word control, but it's just like the Wild Wild West. So this is what it is, man. But yeah, Jake Paul, future of boxing. I can't wait. I'm excited.
You're a troll, right?
No, I'm being honest with you. I ordered wings and everything already. I'm ready to go.
I'm also looking forward to John Fury's performance.
Exactly, it's gonna be amazing.
His father is gonna go off the rails.
Thank you, MC. Let me tell you something. I got back into WWE, so this is amazing for me right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I started watching WWE again, and this is like a higher level of WWE right now. So I'm excited.
Really think about it, a lot of the stuff that's been happening in boxing lately, like we've had the whole Lara spit situation going on. We now have the way AJ kind of blew up at his last fight with Usyk, where like he kind of had a whole act and he did a whole performance, and then John Fury came in. Boxing is back, guys, like honestly. And guess what? Jake Paul's part of that. This weekend, we're gonna have 15-year-old kids watching boxing. When we've never had that.
Tell him, MC.
MC, have you ever seen the movie They Live?
No.
Okay, well, you put the glasses on, you can see the true thing of what's going on. It seems like me and you have the glasses on, and everything. We see what's really going on.
Let's not get carried away.
I mean, I don't think that Jake is the future of boxing. I'm sorry.
You actually believe that I believe that he's the future of boxing?
I'm not gonna let you disrespect
But Nika, you
boxing
actually believe that I believe that he's the future of boxing. Wait a minute, listen to what I just said. You actually believe that I believe that he's the future of
That's what I
boxing.
said. Are you a troll? Are you a troll? Because you're just saying shit like that. Come on, man. Fucking Jake Paul, the future of boxing? Come on, man.
Brother, that's all I gotta say. But
according to WBC, he will be the future of boxing.
But go ahead, Sean.
I cannot.
Nika, I'm sorry, but I actually am excited for this fight because I got nothing else to look forward to. I'm a loser. What am I gonna do on a Sunday night?
I mean, you guys can be excited about it, but
What am I gonna do on a Sunday night?
Boxing.
But here's the thing. I've said this before. Sometimes
you go for a walk in the park, you know.
I do that anyways. That's during the day. But anyways, when you put two guys who are at similar levels, right? They may not be you could take two guys that aren't the biggest names in the sport, but they're on similar levels. Like with all due respect, when you put Gotti and Mickey Ward together, they weren't the best in their weight class, but because they matched up so well together and they're at that same level, it turned out to be a good fight. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury are on the same level, right? And they're just vulnerable enough where they can make the fight exciting and intriguing, right? Because both guys are offensive minded. Both guys aren't the best defensive fighters in the world. And they're kind of, I don't want to say they're not boxers, but they're novices, right? So again, these two guys can actually make for a good fight because they're both the same, right? And I think that the event itself is getting so much attention, and that's good for the sport as well. You got Mike Tyson down there, you got Derek Chisora, you got Devin Haney. You know, you got all these people down there, and Saudi is trying to like really promote this fight. I think Jake Paul is going to knock him out, but I'm actually pulling for Tommy Fury, but I don't think Tommy Fury is going to win. I think Jake Paul is going to stop. I gotta be honest.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Nika. Go ahead, Nika.
Somebody's trolling. So it's the rider of the storm. He goes, I guess she believes it's Berlanga. Okay, I'm half Puerto Rican and half Dominican, and I never ever once believed that Berlanga is a monster. I don't believe that he's even like a ghost.
No, you never
like,
you never liked him. You never liked him. I remember that.
No, I never. So stop coming in this chat, talking shit, trying to like dig because I'm gonna.
Yeah, but he's trying to trigger you. He's trying to trigger you. He's trying to trigger you.
Yeah, and it's working.
Don't let him win. Don't let him win, Nika. Don't let him win.
I'm drinking and I'm very easily triggered. But no, I do not think it's Berlanga, but I don't think it's Jake Paul neither. So come on now.
Berlanga Canelo 2024. Let's go.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God! Please no.
Sir King will still buy it. He'll tune in and still watch it because he's a bigger. He talks about Canelo more than me. Every chance. What do you think Conor Benn? What about Canelo?
Exactly.
What about Canelo? What about Canelo?
Bro, when Canelo was on top, D Styles was like he had the cape on, like I am Canelo.
Let me tell you something. I'll say this 100%. Yes, I'm a fan of Canelo. So what?
That's cool. That's cool.
What do you do about it? What do you do about it? I'm a fan of Canelo. What do you do?
Bro, I'm a fan of Conor Benn.
There you go. You know what I mean? But with that said, we're going to go ahead and proceed here to the next topic.
Fury fan.
Me too. And that's the man who paid the guy at the farm. You feel what I'm saying?
This guy wants so much attention in the chat. He's like, what the fuck? I'm not entitled to my opinion. Ignore me. Well, I'm entitled to defend myself and respond to you, motherfucker.
That's right. Hey, but let's go ahead and
somebody block the chat.
Check it out. After his fight with Crazy A, Hovhannissian, did Nery show you that he is a threat to either Fulton or Inoue? Either one of them or both, right? Joe Habib, I know, like everyone was excited about this fight. You were like negative about it. I'm not that impressed. You yawned. I asked Joe Habib if he was impressed with the fight. And he went like this. Oh, I guess. Like I was like, what? Like, Habib, is he ready for Fulton or Inoue in your opinion? Or not ready, but he's been around for a while. But can he mess with them in the ring? Can he beat any of those guys?
I thought it was a good fight, but like when I was on Twitter, everyone was like talking like this was like Ward Gotti 3. I just didn't think it was that level, but it's hard to believe in Nery because he's so hot and cold sometimes, and it all depends on the opponent he's in there with. He definitely has skills. He's a good fighter, but like I said, he's just so inconsistent. The stamina, and I think that there's mental lapses sometimes in the fights with him where because we know he can box. We know he can definitely box, but sometimes he just likes to stand and trade, and he'll take one to give one, and he did that a little bit in this fight, but because he outgunned Avanesian, he was able to do that. But against a guy like Fulton or Inoue, I think he'll be the guy that's outgunned, and okay. I just don't see him being able to be at the top of this division, to be perfectly honest with you. But he'll make for some entertaining, interesting fights. But I just don't think he'll beat those guys. If I'm being honest, I don't see it.
MC, can you tell Joe that was a great fight? That's number one. But second, right? Do you think he could mess with either Fulton or Inoue at 122, Nery?
I mean, no. Like, he needs to go chase a rematch with Brandon Figueroa at 126. He was winning that fight up to the point he got knocked out. So, no. I mean, Nery, Inoue is pound per pound, like number one for some people. That is very, very reaching, like pretty high, in my opinion. I think he needs to do that rematch with Brandon. And if he wants to stay at 122, he can. But I don't know. Those lower weight classes are getting really hot now. And I love it. And guess why? Because we have the monster coming up there. Everybody's going to want a piece of that. Japan pays their fighters. You might have to fly over there, but they're going to pay you. So that's a good thing about that. I'm glad, and I hope that they get some big fights like we've been seeing lately. But Nery needs to get that rematch with Brandon. Especially, we'll see how the fight with Brandon goes. He's going to be fighting Mark Masago soon. So I'm excited to see that. I think Mark might pull it off this time around. So if Brandon wants to get back, I think he should go back and fight Nery.
Okay, all right. Was it a good fight though against Crazy A?
Yeah, it was a good fight, but I mean, don't compare that opponent against a pound per pound and the number one pound per pound fighter.
Tell him, MC. Tell him.
All right.
Tell him.
Nika, after that performance by Nery, do you see him competing with a Fulton or an Inoue?
Absolutely not. He needs to. I agree with Joe and MC. He's not in any position to be talking shit like he is. I mean, I get it's good for trying to build up a fight, but he's not in any position to be any Inoue or Fulton. So I feel like MC needs to go try to get that rematch with Figueroa and just keep it moving. Like, talking circles where you're involved in, Fulton, Inoue is not your cup of tea. All right.
Okay. All right. Sutter Kane. Can Nery face any of these dudes?
Nah, man. Nery hasn't even. To be totally honest with you, until y'all mentioned him, I forgot all about him and stuff. But no, I don't even think. I think he gets knocked out by the monster, and I think that the other dude from Philly just outboxes him, or maybe even stops him as well. But no, I think he's a good B contender though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good if he came on on a good card, I'd be like, okay, I'll watch it. But besides that, I'm just not like, oh shit, Nery's there. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, he's trying to get a payday, bro. Like how these new boxers say, he's trying to get a payday. So if he's trying to get a payday, go for it, man. But besides that, no, I don't think so, man. I really want to see Fulton and the monster, bro. That's the one I want to see. And so I could care less about all these other ones, but that's the one I'm like, oh shit, like that's the one. Sure.
Bruce Gas, Luis Nery out of Mexico. What do you think?
Everything about this fight, as everyone has said, I agree with, man. Nery was he put on a great show, but we all talk about levels in this game, and we're talking about Inoue and Fulton. It's just not going to be. He's not going to beat those two guys, in my opinion. As a gatekeeper, great, man. As somebody who's a name to bring other super bantamweights up there, great stuff, man. And it was an exciting fight, man. A-Man, he was cut up and he kept smiling and coming back. I mean, it was entertaining. And Nery definitely moved up the ladder. So just let him keep fighting, keep racking up those wins, and maybe he'll get a tremendous win. Beat prospects. And when you keep doing that, you'll inevitably get another title shot. So stick with the game, bro. You only got one defeat. You've already had a belt, and you're not an old fighter. What is he? 27, 28 years old.
Yeah. Look, I think here's the thing. Nery's a former world champion at 118 pounds. I think he could definitely win one of those trinkets at 122. I just think perhaps the Fulton thing just isn't there. Neither Monster Inoue. He's not that far away. I just think he needs a couple of more wins. He's already calling out Inoue. He's been calling him out for a while, actually. But he lost a lot of momentum in that Figueroa fight. A lot of stories about Inoue partying, staying up late at the club. And maybe he's kind of giving that up, but I got to see that's going to be a pattern. I got to see that's going to be a new lifestyle for him, being dedicated to the sport. If there's one thing he does have.
Wait, Inoue is out at the club?
No, I'm sorry. Did I say Inoue? No, I meant Nery. My bad.
No, I wasn't sure. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I meant Nery. If I said Inoue, I apologize. But Nery,
too many drinks. Too many drinks tonight. Too many. Drinks.
But Nery out at the clubs, and obviously, as you could see, when you have too many drinks, you can't even talk very much as box. You know what I mean? But with that said, hopefully, the one thing he does have, I will say this, is power. For 122 pounds, he has a really good knockout ratio. Power that could turn any fight around. And maybe Figueroa was just a little too big for him because Figueroa was big for that weight class. Okay. But anyone in that weight class, I will always give him a puncher's chance. That's for sure. You know what I mean? Too many eggs tonight, Lee. Absolutely. All right. Bruce Gass, I want to go to you as a consumer of boxing, as someone who watches boxing, as someone who rolls his boat gently down the stream. What do you make of DAZN's price hike, brother?
To me, right now, it doesn't make a difference. I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty. I got to find a little bit. I got to deal a little bit more with how finances work and behind the scenes in boxing. But yeah, dude, I've been streaming fights. So the last fight that I paid for was Thomas Hearns and Iran Barkley. I had a black box back in the 80s. I never paid for boxing, and I'm on a fixed income, but I don't have any extra dough for it. If I paid for the fights I want to see, I'd be in the poorhouse. The old lady would throw me out. She'd smash the laptop over my head. But I don't care what they do these styles. To be honest with you, bro, they could go up to $1,000. If I can get it, I'm going to get it. I live in Rhode Island, man. Raytheon's right down the street. These cats are always figuring out ways to descramble something, and they like challenges. Half the cats in there are cats I went to school with, so it doesn't bother me one single bit. Let them try to go up now.
You got to sell that couch to start paying for these fights.
Bro. I would much rather support the fighters directly. I support boxing directly. I give money to fighters, bro. I reach out. I help fighters. I have this thing going right now, bro, and I want to just before I forget about it. It's called Laptops for Legends. What we're doing is we're trying to get funding up, or even I've gotten some people to donate laptops, and they get cleaned out, and we put one in the hands of Marlon Starling already this weekend. Leon Muhammad, the great Leon Muhammad is going to get one, bro. I mean, it's just something. Because, we talk about down and out boxes, and some of these guys, they can't even communicate on shows like this, and they want to get on shows like this. They don't have any internet access. And, we're starting a little grassroots thing like that. So I don't even know where I was going, but before I forgot about it, if anybody wants to do something like that, if you have any access to laptops you don't want anymore, we can get them cleaned out. And I'm trying to hook up with like a Best Buy or something like that, where they can send the Geek Squad out there. Because it's not an out of the reach concept, because these guys don't have laptops, they don't have any way to get on shows, and there's so many of them that want to. So and they can stream the pay-per-views too. I'll teach the OGs how to use strikeout boxing and all these front row stuff. But these styles, that's a question that I'm just doesn't even matter to me, because
okay,
I ain't hooking up with no pay-per-view operation.
Right. Sutter Kane, DAZN has hiked up the prices, and they charge side pay-per-views too.
Yeah, no.
Is this a smart move on their part?
They need. I don't know if it's a smart move. I guess they're losing money. They need to up the money. But I'm kind of with Bruce Gas, man. I remember the black box too. I was in junior high school when I first got my first black box and stuff. You used to have to take the some type of piece and just put it on in. It would just scramble the whole thing. So I'm agreeing with him, man. Like I use IPTV, so I mean for me it don't even matter. But I think when they start increasing the prices like that, I think it's because they're losing money in certain places and they need to like make that money back because they pay their fighters pretty big over there. So I really don't have too much to say on that because I don't really watch zone like that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Nika can have something more than I can.
And like, so what do you make of the price hike? Do you want to chew them out, like for hiking the prices, or?
You know what? They're not reading the room. You know, they're pushing people to streaming. Like, you know, first of all, food is expensive as fuck. Like eggs, first of all, are expensive as hell. So
eggs are very expensive. Yeah.
Very, very expensive. So now you want to bump up the prices on? Like the zone suck the dick. Like you are tripping, trying to boost up the price. They don't show like quality fights like every month to be trying to charge people like that. To me, in my opinion, you know, that's just my opinion.
Nika, you
read the room, the zone. What?
Nike, you proved my point that eggs are very expensive.
But the eggs?
So it's very expensive. No, check it. It's very expensive. So he got a good deal on the eggs, and it just so happened to be tainted. So you can't blame the man.
No, that was just an excuse. Let me tell you, Conor Benn was at a round table, you know, touche. Round table with his team, and they was just throwing darts at the wall to see what kind of excuse they were going to come up with for this failed test, and that's what they came out with.
No, what happened
was
know
that shit was no eggs.
No,
come on, we're past that subject. We're past that subject.
I'm not trying
to pay for expensive eggs, expensive DAZN. I'm not trying to do it. Like, come on, read the room. Read the room, DAZN.
They put two
read
and two
the
together.
room, DAZN.
He always requests eggs, and they say, "Wait a minute." It might be the eggs.
No.
And then
I don't want to pay for expensive eggs and expensive boxes.
Here's the thing. Like,
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
We didn't even get the fight with Conor Benn, and they're still charging us. So you know what I mean? This is crazy.
Yeah,
like, dude didn't even fight.
Like, come on.
Shout out to Remy. Just woke up 18 hours sleep. Like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
All right, well, shout out to you, bro. Shit. Yeah, I wish I had time to sleep for 18 hours. You know what I mean? But shout out to you doing your thing. Abib, what are your thoughts on this price hike, brother?
Last time I slept 18 hours, I think I was a newborn. But yeah, this is horrible, man. A couple of people I've talked to already, they're saying they're not gonna resubscribe. They're gonna cancel. So it's funny they think that they're gonna make up for the money they lost, but I think that this is just gonna kind of run people out. Like Nika said, I think this is a horrible move. I think people are gonna stream even more because of this. And a lot of these fights that are on DAZN, people are already telling me that they stream them anyways. And so I think more and more, I think a friend of mine said that they could watch fights on TikTok now. I don't know. Have anyone ever heard of that? They have the fights on the TikTok now, but it's getting crazy right now. Really is getting crazy with the prices. And this is like the worst time in the world to raise prices. And they're not just raising the price; they're like 50% hike. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a huge increase, bro. 50%. That's like price gouging right now. But me being a loser that I am, I'm on auto renew, so I'm gonna probably renew it.
Here's the thing.
After I talked all that shit.
The reality is this. I think this is the reality that the zone's in. When they started the platform, when they launched the zone, they were overpaying a bunch of fighters. I know people don't like that term, but that's what they were doing, right? And now they're trying to get a return in their investment. I think the investors on the zone are like, yo, we're not making our money back. The problem is this. I thought the solution was, because look at what they've done. They keep raising the prices, yet they still want to have these standalone pay-per-views. You know, that's crazy. Like you can't have pay-per-views on the side, right? All types of side pay-per-views, right? But then at the same time, you want to charge, especially in the U.S. market, this type of crazy money, $24 a month. Oh, but don't worry, we have other sports, darts. We don't give a shit about darts in the U.S. We just don't. Okay. Oh, but there's soccer. It's not even like premier soccer. It's like soccer we don't give a shit about. Okay. Oh, but don't worry. They have MMA. It's not even like UFC. It's like these
PFL.
little leagues.
They got the PFL.
The PFL. Like, give me a break.
I love the PFL.
And I don't give a shit about MMA. How about give me an option where I just pay for the boxing then? Don't charge me for everything else then. Just charge me for the boxing. That's it. Like whatever it is, right? I don't want to pay for darts. Like I like just give me an option for that, right? Oh, but these style because they have an NFL deal in other countries. Well, let those other countries pay for it. Why is the American fight fan subsidizing the UK dudes that are just paying? No offense, UK dudes, you're just paying like $10 a month and you're still bitching about it, right? Like it's crazy. Oh, well, this is too expensive, mate. Like well, what do you mean, $10 a month? The whole thing is a UK freaking schedule, all of it. It's all Matchroom. Matchroom's giving up on USA. Like, I haven't heard about any Matchroom USA cards in a while. It's all UK stuff. And you want us to stop? Charge the UK dudes for that shit. Charge them. Like, all I know is this, and I get, Bruce's point and other points. Well, I'm going to stream it anyway. Should it be like that, though? Should boxing be to the point where we need to pirate it to watch it? Should it be that way?
And the real
NFL fans don't have to pirate the shit. Like NBA fans don't have to pirate their sport. You know what I mean? Like why do we need to get to that point? Let's make it affordable for the boxing fan. Let's stop hiding the sport in a closet, okay, with premium prices, so we could create more boxing fans. That's what we need to do.
But football and basketball, they make a lot of money off of merchandise and stuff like that. Like, they offer jerseys and, boxing doesn't have that. So,
but see, we're also in a different era than even like 10 years ago. I don't have cable. I don't have over the air TV. All I have is internet. I want to watch news. Bang. I go on the internet. I want to watch CNN. I can get it. I want to watch a movie that came out yesterday. I can get it. I want to watch a fight. It's a different era, bro. You're not going to sell something. If there's 2 Coke machines in the store and one you pull a handle, you get free Coke. Next one you got to put a buck in to get a bottle of Coke. Which handle are you going to pull? I mean, it's.
No, I agree with you. I agree 100%. But let me just make one more point. For all the dudes out there, and I'll name drop some. I'm going to name drop some people. It is what it is. Okay.
Don't do it.
Okay, but like, bro. I'm cool with Easy Raw, but he's campaigning for the zone. He's on Twitter telling people, this is a great deal. Like what do you mean? Like what they're raising the prices? You're like, this is a great deal. I get a fight every week. I think it's worth it. Like, yo, come on. You don't have to campaign for the dude. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Easy Raw though. Like it is what it is, but I agree. Punch Drunk out there saying, this is a great deal. Like what do you mean it's a great deal? Like what? Raising the prices is
and
not
they
something
might be
that
getting a little envelope in the back end to help.
What's going on over here? This is an awesome deal. I'm gladly going to pay this. Come on,
watch Rough and Rowdy.
This is crazy.
Yeah, thank you so much, DAZN, for that 50% rate increase.
It's totally worth it.
That's
like you guys should be happy about it.
That's
like
the best thing in the world. I'm going to go buy a car tomorrow. And if the sticker says 20. Guess what? I'm going to pay 25 just for the fuck of it.
It's worth it. I mean, come on.
All right. Here goes one of Ring IQ's dick suckers in the chat. Nog Slayer. Bitch, when in life, I don't even give a fuck if I was the ugliest bitch in the face of this.
Yeah, but
planet.
there's no way you're
never.
even.
I would never stalk Ring IQ. Okay. Okay, I would never stalk Ring IQ, so don't come over here trolling, trying to get me started because I know you probably holding his balls right now and stuffing his dick. Get out of the chat because we're talking boxing over here, all right? We're talking boxing over here. We're talking boxing over here. Bitch.
Yeah, let's talk some boxing. All right, let's proceed here.
What's in the cup?
It's always a man with a pussy that's always coming on somewhere trying to start with me.
Is that
come on. When in life, I would never stalk a man who has booty digging fingers. This man's fingers are like, come on, are you crazy right now? His wife looks like ET. Like, are you crazy?
Okay, I gotta stop. That's it.
Because it's either Ring IQ yourself in the chat doing that. So you're gonna
But
stop
let's
playing
let's
with me,
keep it
all right?
moving. We're
You're
not
stop
gonna
playing
go
with
there.
me. You're
Let's
gonna
just
stop
keep it
trying me.
moving. Let's
All
keep
right?
it
You're gonna
moving.
go somewhere and suck a dick and keep your name, keep
Well,
my
but
name out of your
let's
fucking
not
mouth.
go there.
That's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna
Let's
do.
move on.
That's what
Let's
you're
move
gonna
on.
do. You're gonna keep
But
my name out your
let's
fucking mouth, bitch. Keep
but
my name out your
let's
fucking
go ahead and
mouth,
move on.
bitch.
Mike, is that
We
Hennessy?
gotta move. We're gonna move on. We're not gonna go there.
Hennessy?
Let's move on. All right. So anyway,
Bacardi.
what is next
Bacardi.
for Lara?
Explains a lot.
Mauricio Lara. Okay, he's gonna be. He just fought this weekend. Actually, he knocked out Wood. All right, in a fight that I believe he was behind. All right, I had him winning the second round. Had him losing the other rounds, but it seemed like every time he hit Lara, he would hurt him. Right, it was far and few between. But I think he caught a second win around the seventh round. Started hurting Wood. Caught him with a beautiful left hook. Set up beautifully. Knocked him out. Wood is out. Now, the question to the panel is the following. Okay? We're going to start with you, Joe. What would you rather see if you could only pick one? A rematch with Wood. A Bad Blood trilogy with Josh Warrington. As you know, they had that whole thing in the outside. Spit on him and everything, right? And then, or a unification with fellow Mexican El Venado Lopez. If you could pick one, if you could pick that next fight, what would you rather see?
I would pick the Wood rematch because, as you said, I only gave Lara one round in that fight, but the fight was very, very entertaining, and plus the stoppage in a lot of people's opinions was controversial. They thought it was early. I know Sutter said it, and Eric, my co-host, said it on
Yeah, I went
Sunday.
off.
Yeah, so there was a few people that thought that it was early, right? So I think because of that, you have a storyline, right? And because of how competitive the fight was, and a lot of people are going to say, well, what if he didn't get hit with that left hook? He was way up on the scorecards, right? It's a lot of what it coulda, shouldas here, but regardless, I think this fight, the rematch, would be phenomenal. I think it would be a great fight. So I'd like to see the rematch, if I'm being honest.
Okay, all right. Nika, what's your three? What you rather see?
I agree with Joe. I would love to see the rematch. I'm pissed off right now. I'm not even gonna lie. So you're just going to the next person because I have liquor in me. So I really just want to like cuss somebody out because there's another troll in here. Like this guy is obsessed with me. He's sending his trolls over here to start shit on your show. So I apologize for going off on people on here, but they're like really trying to ruin something. So I agree with Joe. I want a rematch. So that's that.
What rematch? Okay, Sutter Kane.
I'll take the trilogy because I think the fight's gonna be the same exact way, meaning that the way he got hit and knocked out it's inevitable. It's gonna happen again. Like so, he could be winning the whole fight, and it's inevitable. It's that style. It's inevitable that it's gonna happen. But for me personally, I'll take the trilogy. And I was pissed off that they stopped it that early, man. And I think what's his coach's name again?
Ben Davidson.
I think Ben Davidson is a scary motherfucker, bro. Like he did the same thing with
love it.
Fury, bro. With Fury,
I
when
love it.
Fury got knocked down by Wilder, he ran and Freddie Roach had to hold. I think it was Freddie Roach or somebody had to hold him back. The dude was crying. Like for some reason, man, he's just like, bro, give the man a chance first. Like you feel what I'm saying? 7 seconds left. So that's a whole nother conversation. But to your answer now, I'll take the trilogy. I feel the fight's gonna be the exact same way. Gonna be winning on the cards, get knocked out.
All right, Bruce Goss. Of those three options, trilogy with Warrington, a rematch with Wood, or a unification with Venado Lopez.
I thought the fight was great on Saturday. I will and I'm gonna have to say that from watching it on the spur of the moment, I thought it was a quick stoppage, thrown in that towel with only a few seconds left. I mean, he was ahead. He's in his own country. I just can't see Ben Davidson panicking like that. Maybe he saw something. Maybe he saw he was out cold on his feet. I don't know, but I think you should give him the benefit of the doubt. Those few seconds and the next fight. I mean, after that fight was over, spitting on Warrington. What the fuck is that all about? That's kind of the lowest thing you can do, man. And shy of going back with a couple of guns at 20 paces. Get these guys in the ring immediately, man. While the heat is on, England. I don't know if you want to go to anywhere else, but that's absolutely a fight for that arena, bro. I mean, that's the fight I want to see, and a rematch that could be possible too. I understand some people saying that there was a rematch clause in that fight. The reason Ben Davidson stopped it so fast, he knew there was a guaranteed rematch in there. He was going to make more money and go to Mexico and you hear a lot of things, but I just thought that it was a great fight, and Lara is absolutely hot commodity right now. I'm sorry,
Yeah. Right. He's a hot commodity. Yeah, he's gonna be a hot commodity. Why not? No, look, I actually, first of all, yes, Lara spit on Warrington. I'm not condoning the spitting.
Yeah, me
I
either.
would never
That's
condone.
disgusting, yo.
But here's a but, and I don't want to butt it. I'm not excusing it, right? But like what's Warrington going to do about it? Is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because like, why are you trying to get it? Like, that's Lara's moment. He just want to fight. Why are you trying to get in the ring for? Why are you talking shit from the ring apron for? And when they start breaking you up, and you like the energy you bring, Warrington, it's going to come back at you. And Warrington, and so when Lara goes, like you know that whole speech from Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Well, that doesn't apply to boxing. Like, you go low, I go lower. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what Lara did, in my opinion. But, and I know Warrington's saying it's personal now. Like, it's the most personal fight that I don't want to see again. Like, I just don't want to see it again. I don't want to see Warrington, landing headbutts all night and with his dirty ass. And I don't want to see, I don't think Lara needs to prove anything. He already decisively beat this dude. I think Wood deserves a rematch. I agree with the stoppage. However, I could see the argument that maybe they should have let it go. So I would rather see a fight with Wood, a rematch, and then after that, maybe unification with Venado Lopez. That's what I personally would like to see. Okay. With that said,
there's a guy named there's a troll in here by Yemi who's over here. Obviously you're a dick sucker, because he's like, nah, Julius is live right now. Nika's just emotional. This is why she's single. I'm single by choice. Let's get that straight. Let's not act like I have any issue getting a man. I don't want none of you motherfuckers, especially a bitch like you who dick sucks another man and coming over here trolling. If Julius is live, then go to his fucking live. Why are you over here trying to troll me?
I just wonder why Beeb is hiding in the corner right now.
You suck dick. And you're over here doing your man's work, right?
All right. Well,
fuck out of here.
It is what it is.
These guys have pussies, man. These guys have pussies. I'm telling you,
they can't handle you, Nika. They can't handle you.
These guys have pussies. That's why they
can't handle you.
In CVS and Walgreens, you can never find tampons because you guys with pussies are always buying them out. If Julius is live, why are you over here? Stay over there. I'm single by choice, bitch.
All right. So we're going to proceed. Speaking of boxing, one more topic, guys.
I'm sorry, D-Styles, but these guys really be pissing me the fuck off. Like, I don't let nobody disrespect me. I don't care. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Well, speaking of somebody that doesn't like to be disrespected, Subriel Matias, 18-1, 18 knockouts, to be fighting Argentina's Jeremias Ponce, who's 30-0 with 20 knockouts. This will be 12 rounds for one of the vacant belts that Josh Taylor let go. This is for the IBF title. Both guys have promised a war. Both guys have promised a knockout victory. Joe Habib, who'd you got winning this vacant belt?
Yes, I think he's a quicker, more explosive guy. I think he throws the shorter, crisper punches. I saw Ponce fight Ritson, and he brings a lot of volume. He's a tall, long guy, but he likes to fight on the inside. And I think because he throws wide looping shots, I can see Matthias getting inside those wide looping shots. Both guys don't really move a lot. They like to hold their ground, and they like to fight in the center of the ring. And even though Ponce is tall, he's like 5'11", but he likes to fight on the inside. So I think the interesting thing about this fight is you're gonna have Ponce bringing a lot of volume, but then you're gonna have Matthias, who I think is the quicker, more explosive, heavier hitter, and I think he can land that one punch that'll turn the fight around. And I think both these guys are just gonna meet each other head on, and I think it will be a very aggressive, exciting type fight. So I think it could be like a phone booth type war. But like I said, I think Matthias will be the guy getting there first, and I think he'll be landing the harder shots in this fight. So I'm going to go with Matthias. I think he'll stop him.
Nika. So Matthias out of Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? Fighting a tough Argentine fighter. You're mute. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
My bad. Sorry. So I agree with Joe. Matthias is from Puerto Rico. You know, I usually don't go for like my countrymen. It's like I'm just a boxing fan. But I do agree with Joe that he is an explosive fighter, and you know, I feel like he only just had one bump in his record that, you know, you can kind of like argue about. Yeah, there's one bump in his record, so I don't see him losing this fight. I really feel he might get a knockout, to be honest. So, I'm not saying that Ponce is a bomb, but I just feel like Matthias is gonna come with it. He's only had like maybe just one bump in the road, so this is not anything to be like concerned about. So,
for those that don't remember, he did have a loss which he avenged, right? And he stopped the guy. 18 wins, 18 knockouts. He's actually the guy that fought Dadashev when he unfortunately passed away. So he's a devastating puncher for sure. Sutter Kane, who do you think's going to win this fight?
Sad to say, I don't know who either of these guys are. I'm looking them up right now. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I don't know who these guys are.
At least you're honest.
Yeah,
you really don't know who they are. Oh my god.
Nah.
But you know, but you're like saying that Jake Paul is the future of boxing.
He is the future of boxing. You'll see.
You can all goodbye.
No, you'll see. Definitely. When he's the future of boxing, I'm gonna find you and send you a Jake Paul shirt. But you gotta send me the size and everything. I'll send you a Jake Paul shirt, and I'll send you a carton of eggs and everything. Yeah,
no.
Amazing.
I have chickens. It'll be good over here.
Oh, really? Have they been tested?
Yeah. No, I see. My chickens are not actually here in Miami. They're in Clewiston, Florida, because they were. I had roosters and stuff, and they were like waking up the neighbors like freaking 4 o'clock in the morning. Like,
I feel you. But yeah, D-Styles, I don't know neither of these guys, so you have to go to Bruce Gas. I'm gonna have to do more research.
Bruce, talk to us about the this fight. Who do you think's gonna win? Is for one of the vacant belts that Taylor had to let go.
Yeah, well, you know, Taylor had to let go, and it's Showtime. I got to give him credit on this, and you know, I dig this Minneapolis Armory. I've seen it. It's historical, first of all. I mean, Sugar Ray Robinson's fought there. Joe Louis has fought there. I mean, the first fight I saw Larry Holmes fight Scott Ledoux back in 1981 maybe. But anyway, man, it's a real cool place. I've talked to people who went there. It holds about 8,500 people. Very intimate. It's got a big bar in there. Everybody drinks, and it's the place for a fight. Matthias is undefeated. Ponce one loss, or is it the other way around? But I know it's a real good fight.
Matthias has one loss, yeah.
Okay, one loss. So, bro, Showtime's doing it right. This is cool for a Saturday night. I like the undefeated. I like Ponce. I like these Argentinians, man. I haven't seen him fight much. I've seen Matthias a couple of times. You know, he's been on a few fights recently, and it's a cool Saturday night fight. This one right here, it's got some promotion to it. Like I said, man, it seems like Showtime's putting a lot of fights on up in Minnesota. I think they're getting about 2 or 3 feet of snow right now too. So I don't know if that's going to hinder it, but I think it's going to be a cool night, and I'm going with the Argentinian on this one.
Okay. Oh, damn. Okay. All right. And those Argentinians, they do sneak in. Usually they're the underdog, and then they get a big win, and then everybody gets on the train. That's usually how it goes, right? You can never count out these Argentinian fighters. So shout out to Lucia, by the way. Okay, boxing dev. But I will say this. I think I honestly believe Matthias is a real threat in this division. And I hear you, Joe. I mean, he's not exactly the most offensive fighter, but that's just not his style, right? He's a come forward destroyer. He welcomes exchanges because he's got the power advantage. This is somebody who's going to knock out a lot of guys. He's a very dangerous fighter, and I do believe maybe it's a poor man's version, but I think he's like a poor man's version of a really good poor man's version of Felix Trinidad. In that division, he hits hard, and I think he's going to win by knockout. And what I do believe will be a very exciting fight while it lasts. And that'll be that. Okay. With that said, everybody, I want to thank everyone who came on the show. Shout out to Gabriel Montoya and MC who joined us. And shout out to Nika. Thanks for coming on. Bruce, Gus, Joe Habib, and Sutter Kane as always. And we're out of here. Peace out.
All right, guys, take it easy.
All right.
It is.